Jodie.
And I'm Ashley.
And I'm Edie. I'm Matt.
And this is Max.
Our dog.
And we are
The
Balloona Adventures!
That's actually right.
Please subscribe to follow our journey.
Hi, welcome to the channel. So today I'm going to be trying to sort out my notchy gear shift on a manual transmission Mercedes Sprinter long wheelbase 2014 by replacing this part. This is part of the gear selector, and I've got a feeling this is really worn on the one that's in the van at the minute. The van's done over 250,000 miles, so yeah, I've got a feeling replacing this is going to sort out selecting first, second and reverse gear, which can be really difficult at times. If you want a shortened version of this video just showing the procedure, please click on this link now. But this one will go through the entire thing. This is part of a camper van conversion, so want the van to do a lot more miles. It passed its MOT recently with 0 advisories, which really surprised me and was really wonderful. So going to look after it, and hopefully it will do many more miles and take me and the family on lots of adventures. So if you like this sort of content, please hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get cracking with this job. So the first job really is going to be to gain access to 2 bolts which are holding the entire gear mechanism in place, and that is these 2 bolts here. There's one this side of the gear mechanism and there's one hidden in this side as well. But to get to access to those, that will then allow this whole mechanism to pull forward. I can unhook the cables. This is the reversing gear cable, and there's another gear cable on the back of this whole mechanism. They're what I need to gain access to unhook the cables, so then this whole thing can come out. I can replace the part which is in here, which is the cradle, which the sort of ball, this is the socket that the ball fits into, which then allows the movement for selecting each gear. So first job is going to be to remove all of this lower dash. So let's get started with that. I don't have a lot of a mechanical experience, so this is going to be quite interesting like that. So this is going to be the biggest job I've done on a van by quite a long way. I've bought a special toolkit specifically for this job, which has Torx bits, which are the star bits, which is what I'm going to need to undo every bolt on the dash. And what I'll do is I'll try and film everything in the time lapse, a sort of speeded up version, just so the video is not an hour and a half long. But if you need to know any sort of specifics on bit sizes or the sort of screwdriver head sizes, then drop me a comment and I'll try and help as much as I can. But for this section, I'm really just going to be undoing the bottom half of the dash so I can gain access to the actual gear selector mechanism within the dash. that's the dash removed, so we're in and we can see the bits that we need to get to for the gear assembly. So what I'm going to do is undo this bolt here, and the same on the other side, this bolt here. Okay, so it's a standard 13mm or 1/2 inch socket. Okay, that's the gear assembly loosened. It's just held in place now by these cables. What we can get, let's get a screwdriver in there. There's one. There we go, that's got it. There we go, just a bit of a little bit more pressure with the screwdriver has got that off. And then underneath, just here, there's a electric cable which will be for the reversing light. So just going to unclip that and I think we'll be free. Okay, there's a couple of retaining clips holding both of the cables onto the assembly itself, so I'm just going to attempt to remove those with a a moving screwdriver. Okay, are we good? Yeah, there we go. Okay, it was just a matter of twisting the whole unit and the cable slid out, so that's good. So this is what we're after all along. So this is what we wanted to get to. This is the dash mounted gear selector mechanism, the full unit. If you wanted to buy one of these from Mercedes as a whole unit, which is all they sell this as, they don't sell the individual components. My local Mertrucks dealer quoted me £335 including VAT. So we're going to try and sort out that gear selection mechanism and make it much better, much more crisp with this. So yeah, so this was about £29. I also bought a brand new gear knob because I've got a feeling that's going to have to come off. Although looking at it, I'm not sure whether it will, but if it does anyway, I've got that, which was about £17 plus £7 delivery. I'll put the links to all this in the description, so if you want to purchase the same things, you can have a look on eBay and see what you think. Okay, so the first job is going to be to remove the actual gear knob itself off the top, because then behind that is a small spring which helps pop back the gear mechanism after selecting reverse. I watched a video from Urban Van Life where they bought a new gear knob, just the knob itself. They bought one with their own logo in it and things like that, which was pretty cool. But they had an absolute nightmare trying to release the old gear knob, which is what I'm going to be trying to do now. I've got a feeling. Okay, so we've got the gear knob off, as you could probably see. I know it was going to be difficult, but I didn't quite realise it was going to be that difficult. Did have to resort in the end to some persuasive power, but yeah, at least it's free, so that's the main thing. So now I'm going to get cleaned up and then we'll start on doing the assembly. Okay, first things first, I'm going to get it cleaned up because there's loads of grease on the shaft and also in the ball socket. Okay, next part of the procedure is to release this clip here, which is retaining this spring. So let's do that. There we go. And then unhook the spring. There we go, remove that. Now we're ready to undo the 4 screws. And just to say as well, these ones are pretty much tighter, or a fair bit tighter than anything that I took out the dash that was T25. So this looks like it should just come out. I'm just looking at that reversing switch, wondering if that's going to come out with it. Yeah, that's pretty much holding it in place. So yeah, just lift the little tiny lever there. Not sure whether you'll see it. Lift that to release the reversing switch. And let's see what we've got inside. Okay, so this is the bit that we're going to be replacing. And I'll tell you one thing. Oh, it stinks. There you go, I think 8-year-old grease. It done off wang a bit, yeah. But there we go. Yeah, you can see the grease has seen better days there. It's all congealed and it's really sticky. It's not greasy at all. Yeah, I don't know whether you can see that, but it's actually sticking to the glove. So at least we can renew all that as well. So I'm going to get this ball socket cleaned up, and then we can replace the parts that need to be replaced and get it all back together again. So a bit of grease and it did pop straight into the socket. So let's get it all reassembled now. Just putting the reversing switch back in there. Just reattach the spring. I'll put this in there now, hold it in place. Okay, so I've greased the shaft and now I'm just going to put the gear gaiter back over the top. Okay, there we go, that's that on there. Now there is a certain way it needs to go. And is that it? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so there's some little spines on the actual gear selector, and they just have to match up with the corresponding holes in the mechanism. So yeah, so that's in the right place. So now is the big job of trying to get the new gear lever in place with a spring that wants to push it off. So I'll see how I'm going to do that in a moment. Okay, I've just got my hammerhead holding the gear knob upside down so I can pop a little bit of super glue in there. I've offered it up to the shaft of the gear lever and it is a really tight fit, so I don't think I'm going to need much of this, and just a little tickle should do it. I've also changed my gloves as well because the old ones were covered in grease and I don't want any grease inside there, which might affect the way that the gear knob grips this piece on the actual shaft, because I don't want it coming off while I'm driving, really. I think that'll be a bit of a nightmare. So I'm going to put a little bit on the end here as well. There we go. Right, this stuff sets really quickly, so I'm going to get it on, and it needs to be facing this way, so let's put that on there. Push into place. There we go. Yeah, that feels good. Just make sure it's all the way down there like that's like in the dash. Okay, yeah. Oh, blimey, that was close. I had it completely the wrong way around. I had it 180 degrees the wrong way. So, Got to figure that out before the super glue is going to go off, but that feels nice. Oh, and that mechanism feels much tighter. So, yeah, there we go. Okay, let's get it all back in the cab and reassembled. That's the assembly back together again with the new socket in there, and it's feeling much tighter. So I'm just going to do the reverse of taking it apart and get it all back together again. I'm going to start by greasing up the cables and connecting the reverse light switch and clipping the cables back into place, and we'll take it from there. I've had a couple of days driving the van now that I've replaced that socket on the gear shaft and the gear selector, and I just wanted to update that, yeah, there's been a definite improvement in the selection of the gears, which is really nice. It's nothing like as sloppy as it used to be, and the good news is that the reversing camera or the reversing lights haven't come on at all when I've selected or tried to select first gear. First and second gear are improved. Third, fourth, fifth and sixth, absolutely brilliant now. They're going like silk. It's still not like what I would class as brand new, but for the price it is, which was around £30 for the actual socket and then about £23 I think. I'll put the prices on the screen now so you can get an idea on what they cost. For the price they cost and a morning's work, I would say that that is really good value for money. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. If you're thinking of replacing it, I would also get a spare gear knob as well, because the main hassle, if you like, the thing that took the most time was removing the existing gear knob from the top of the gear shaft. That was a complete pain, to be honest. I was expecting it, so I had a new gear knob in place. Yeah, once it's all put back together again, it looks good with the brand new gear knob on it, because the other one was really worn. And as I say, this is a high mileage Mercedes Sprinter, so it's done 258,000 miles. An improvement, value for money. So cost per performance, I'd say it's fantastic value. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. If you're fairly technical, I'm sure you'd do it much quicker than me. If you've got a better way of removing that gear knob, then that would save loads and loads of time. I did actually have to resort in the end to getting a pair of grips really tight and hitting them with a hammer to try and loosen it off, which did eventually work. I thought it was going to be rubber, like the sort of rubber that you feel on the outside all the way through, so I'd be able to cut it off with a knife if it came to it, and I tried that and that didn't work either, because there's an actual solid plastic ball in the middle which the rubber then coats. So yeah, wasn't able to cut it off. Someone with a bit more technical know-how would be able to do it, and I've got very little mechanical experience working on this kind of thing. Now it's done, yeah, absolutely brilliant. So really pleased with the improvement. Anyone who's having a bit of a problem with the gear selection, as long as you're confident that it's nothing to do with the cables or the gearbox or the clutch, if you're pretty sure that it is the actual sloppy selection, then for the sake of £30, perhaps a new gear knob as well, and a morning's work or a few hours work, then why not give it a go? Yeah, I was really pleased with it, so happy days, and hopefully I'll catch you on another video. Okay, thanks for watching. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and reverse. And the reversing camera, out of reverse, into reverse, out of reverse, into first. No reverse camera. Happy days.